a new film, Kraven the Hunter.
The planned American superhero movie Kraven the Hunter will include the same named character from Marvel Comics. Ariana DeBose, Fred Hetchinger, Alessandro Nivola, Christopher Abbott, Russell Crowe, and Aaron Taylor Johnson play the titular character in this picture, which was directed by J.C. Chandor from a script by Richard Wenk and the writing duo of Art Markham and Matt Holloway.
Глава Кировский группе.
Я охотник.
И никому не скажешь.
It is slated to be the sixth movie in Sony's Spider-Man universe, SSU, and is produced by Columbia Pictures in collaboration with Marvel Entertainment. The movie looks at Kraven's journey to become the best hunter and his complicated connection with his father. Just 1 week prior to the film's premiere, the opening 8 minutes of Kraven the Hunter were made available for free. This daring approach might convince you to watch the Sony production, which stars Aaron Taylor Johnson. Viewed below following its first behind-the-scenes presentation at New York Comic Con, the opening sequence features Taylor Johnson as Spider-Man nemesis Kraven the Hunter, and it makes an excellent initial impression.
She was weak, sick in her. You will give our enemy.
What happened that day?
Hunter.
Oh, you're standing in him.
Kraven initially poses as prisoner 0864 in a Russian jail in order to attack Simon Korny, a gang boss and gun dealer, in order to get to his objective. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, 2014 teased Sergei Kravinoff, also known as Kraven, a legendary Spider-Man villain created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and a founding member of the Sinister Six. According to Marvel Comics, Kraven is a Russian aristocrat whose family was forced to leave Russia in 1917 because of the February Revolution. In an attempt to become the greatest hunter in the world, Kraven became a compulsive large game hunter and, after becoming an expert at the sport, set out to kill Spider-Man. Mark Webb, the director of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, expressed interest in casting the character in a motion picture in 2014. Sony expressed enthusiasm for a standalone Kraven movie in 2017 amid years of deliberating on the character. Sony stated that Kraven the Hunter was in creation as of March 2019, and Richard Wenk was brought in August 2018 to create the script. Remarkably, filmmaker Ryan Coogler had intended to include Kraven in his MCU blockbuster Black Panther before discovering that Sony held the film's cinematic rights. Thus, Kraven will get a well-earned introduction to Sony's shared superhero world in the future film. You'll notice a significant departure from standard Marvel fare here. Kraven then makes his way out of the cage, demonstrating his extraordinary superpowers and climbing prowess. He leaves the physique of the actual detainee 0864 behind as he dashes into a snowstorm and into the cargo compartment of a fleeing jet in the last minutes. J.C. Chandor, the director of Kraven, has been outspoken promoting its upcoming theatrical debut in recent weeks, asking viewers to give us a chance and guaranteeing that it would surprise the hell out of a lot of people. Based on these 8 minutes, it could be worthwhile to watch the film. Arriving on December 13, 2024, Kraven the Hunter stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ariana DeBose, Fred Hetchinger, and Alessandro Nivola. On Friday, December 13, 2024, Kraven the Hunter will be released in cinemas. The adapted spin-off film The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim will precede the R-rated superhero film. Originally planned for release on January 13, 2023, October 6, 2023, and August 30, 2024, Kraven the Hunter has had many delays. Numerous release date changes can frequently be a source of worry, due to the New Mutants maybe, but occasionally they are done to improve the film, as was the case with Kraven the Hunter. Producer Matt Tolmach, who discussed the film's delay in an exclusive conversation with Steve Weintraub of Collider, at least. Tolmach stated, Sony has alternatively been an entire failure or seen very slight triumph with their spider-villain flicks since the release of Kraven the Hunter. Despite getting primarily bad reviews, Venom, Let There Be Carnage brought in some cash for Sony. Following its publication, the infamous Morbius became so popular that it was delightfully fooled by the internet into being re-released. This year, Madam Web barely made $100 million and was widely criticized. Venom: The Last Dance has received mixed reviews from reviewers and fans and has made close to $440 million at the box office. Sony's effort to create a movie world centered on antagonists of a character who doesn't exist in that realm has obviously failed. Why they believed it would be successful is beyond me. The notion is ludicrous and will undoubtedly be remembered as one of the most peculiar choices the business has ever made. With the December 13th release of Kraven the Hunter, Sony is making one final attempt to close out the year. I believe the movie looks quite nice, which is shocking. It has one redeeming feature that the previous films, especially Venom, did not have but most certainly ought to have: it is rated R. Why Sony chose to release Kraven as an R-rated movie while allowing the Venom trilogy to remain PG-13 action comedy when they obviously ought to have been R-rated horror movies is a mystery. Simply said, I'm happy they did it. I was immediately captivated by the action in the movie's initial trailer. Kraven slams a moose trap into a human face, slits many throats, tosses an iron pole through a man in a helicopter, and chews off an individual's nose. That type of stuff is great. But the narrative turned out to be a very standard comic book tale, and I'll probably watch it through to the end to see the murder. Even if the action was amazing, Sony has disappointed me with each of their previous releases in their bizarre, careless cinematic world. With their strange selection of Marvel characters, audiences don't trust Sony to make a solid film, but perhaps now is the moment. They used their secret weapon and gave the film an R rating, which was a smart move since a superhero film with a R rating will certainly attract some audience attention to it. This was reinforced by an article from Deadline Hollywood, which said that Chandor exploited the film's several postponements to rework the story and hone the characters. Additionally, the delay was made in part in response to Madam Web's critical and commercial failure, as Sony hopes Kraven will be able to replicate the Venom film's box office success. The movie will ultimately be accessible on Netflix following its theatrical run, as well as when it becomes released on home video and video on demand. This is because of an agreement that was made between Netflix and Sony in April 2021 that grants the streaming service the first look at future Sony movies. On June 19, 2023, the first trailer for Kraven the Hunter was made public. According to the 3-minute teaser, the movie will tell the hunter's genesis tale. An intriguing take on the Spider-Man mythology is when a young Kraven meets a powerful lion and thereafter acquires animal-like abilities. On August 16, 2024, Sony Pictures unveiled the second teaser for Kraven the Hunter, which gave us our first glimpse of the Rhino, the film's primary adversary. Before Sony Pictures expressed interest in turning Kraven into a standalone movie in 2017 as part of its new shared universe, the character was considered for movie roles on many occasions. Holloway and Markham joined Wenck after he was hired in August 2018. The casting of Taylor Johnson in May 2021 cemented Chandor's directorship, which she had begun negotiating in August 2020. Before the late March to mid-June filming period, more cast members joined in early 2022. The locations for filming were Glasgow, Iceland, and London. Sony reached out to famous people which include Adam Driver, Brad Pitt, Keanu Reeves, and John David Washington for the role of Kraven. The producers, however, were so impressed with early footage of Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance in the 2022 action comedy Bullet Train that they quickly made the decision to cast him. His most well-known roles include that of Pietro Maximoff in Avengers, Age of Ultron and the title character in Kick-Ass and its sequel. It was revealed in March 2022 that Ariana DeBose, an Academy Award winner, will play Calypso. In the comics, Calypso is a witch goddess who employs magic potions and Kraven's romantic interest. Calypso is usually shown in Marvel Comics as Spider-Man's enemy. In the film, fans may expect the filmmakers to go into the love bond between the pair. For her portrayal of Anita in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, DeBose was well praised. It was recently confirmed that Alessandro Nivola would play the Rhino, the classic Spider-Man adversary and the film's major antagonist. Nivola's portrayal of the Rhino will be very different from Paul Giamatti's 2014 portrayal of the creature in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Despite having a long list of acting accomplishments, Nivola is most recognized for playing Pollux Troy, the brother of Nicolas Cage, in John Woo's 1997 film Face Off. According to reports, Christopher Abbott will portray the Foreigner, the second adversary. Nivola is well known for her roles as Charlie Datolo in the HBO comedy drama series Girls and Mason Tanetti in The Sinner. In February 2022, Fred Hetchinger participated in the cast of Kraven the Hunter as Kraven's half-brother, Dmitry Smerdyakov, also known as Chameleon. In Marvel Comics, Spider-Man's first enemy is the villainous Chameleon. He is renowned for being a master of disguising and can pass for almost anyone. His most well-known roles include those of Ethan Russell in The Woman in the Window, John Callie in News of the World, and Trevor in 8th Grade. Russell Crowe, the Academy Award winner, will portray Kraven's father, with whom Kraven has a complex connection. Crowe has a history in the superhero genre. He most recently portrayed Zeus in Thor, Love and Thunder, and earlier portrayed Jor-El, Superman's father, in Man of Steel. Levi Miller, a rising sensation, plays a younger Kraven. Kraven the Hunter will be the first movie in Sony's Spider-Man universe to be given R classification, according to Taylor Johnson, who made this announcement during the movie's 2023 CinemaCon presentation. Despite the hopes of many fans that the Venom films would receive an R rating, both received a PG-13 classification, and Morbius received a PG-13 rating as well. Although the majority of superhero movies are classified PG-13, the popularity of the Deadpool films prompted studios to target the classification more often. As a result, movies like Logan, The Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, The Joker, and Zack Snyder's Justice League all received R ratings. Kraven the Hunter is scheduled to be released by Sony Pictures, releasing in the United States on December 13, 2024.
Basquiat.
They're a gangster.
Hell followed kind of magic. Kind of honor.
It's like our father.
Man who comes around.